Did you know that your earlobes are the same distance apart as your nipples are? You're welcome. Food can sometimes be pretty easy to name and describe. Fish and chips, for example. You got your fish, you got your chips, or fries for everyone else but English people. Bacon and eggs, pulled pork, coconut shrimp, hot dogs. But sometimes the name just doesn't do it justice. For example, butter chicken. We all know that this dish isn't just some chicken cooked in some butter. Although, that doesn't seem that bad at all, actually. Sounds kind of good. But we do know that it's this rich, creamy, tomatoey goodness with its distinct, complex flavors. But to make it yourself doesn't have to be all that complex at all. So of course you're gonna want to start off with your chicken. I got about 3 pounds of chicken thigh here. Chicken thigh is the preferred cut for this dish, as you won't risk any overcooking, really. You can cook them longer, they won't turn out dry. They got that nice flavor and texture to them. So of course, if you're a baller and you want to buy boneless chicken thigh, you're more than welcome to. I, for one, am a simple man with a knife. So I'm gonna debone these thighs like usual. Just find our bone, find it, cut through to the bone, and start scraping and cutting around the bone. Do it for all of them. Alright, I'm going to keep the skin on because I like the skin. But from this point, we're going to need to chop this down into bite-sized pieces. This works really well. About this size is pretty good, but a bite size for me. People always tell me I have a pretty big mouth. Alright, so now we got 3 pounds of chicken thigh, which we're gonna season it with half a teaspoon per pound, like usual. As for all the scraps, don't toss it out. It makes for great chicken stock or other uses. Next, for our marinade, 1.5 cups of plain yogurt, tablespoon and a half of Garam Masala, tablespoon and a half of garlic powder, tablespoon of onion powder, tablespoon of ground cumin, tablespoon of ground ginger, tablespoon of chili powder, and lastly, about a tablespoon of turmeric. We'll whisk that real nicely. This is potent. And so from here, obviously, you get all your chicken in a bowl. And then pour your marinade in. Or, if you have a vacuum sealer, this is the preferred method. It's not only does the vacuum sealer make it look like you know what you're doing, even though you don't, it allows the marinade to penetrate and to coat whatever's inside a lot more evenly than if it was just hanging out in a bowl. And you could also use less of your marinade to achieve that same result. Try to get everything in all in here. And then don't be shy to get all in there and mix it really well. You want to coat every piece evenly. Feels really good on the skin. It's not weird at all. Why don't I just wear gloves? Alright, to seal this. So you can see here, flat profile. Every piece gets a nice even coat. Massage just a little bit more, just in case you missed any spot. Ooh, this one actually does feel nice. So you're gonna wanna pop this in the fridge for at the very minimum 30 minutes. The longer this marinates, the better the flavor penetrates through. If you do this overnight, that'd be best. Next, I thought it'd be a good idea to try to make some naan, and it's not naan bread, because that just means bread. To make some naan, I'm gonna use the small mixer for this. I'm gonna measure out 350 grams of bread flour. All purpose is fine. 5 grams of yeast, 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of salt. Whisk our dry ingredients together first. And 120 grams of lukewarm water, around 100 Fahrenheit. Then a 1/4 cup of plain yogurt. And lastly, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Slap in our dough hook. I've never made this before, but let's give it a try. It's only bread. Alright, our dough looking a little scraggly, a little dry. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of water. Yeah, that looks better. Alright, let's check on our dough. Looks like dough. Do our gluten stretch test. Let's see light through it. So our dough's pretty much done. A little tacky. That's what you want, I think. We'll roll this into a ball. Give this a little... That's a good ball of dough. Alright, we'll get this into a greased bowl, cover it, let this rise in a warm place for about an hour or so, or until it doubles in size. Then we could get to the rest of this. Alright, so while we wait for our dough to proof, we can get started on making our butter chicken gravy. Sauce? I think it's called a gravy, but I think it's a sauce. So I want to start off by cutting 4 onions. Seems like a lot. It is. Next, we're going to crush about 8 garlic cloves. Is that a lot? Also, yes. As with most internet recipe, whatever you see as your garlic content, times 2. I've already done that step for you. Very rarely is garlic ever enough. All that leftover stuff in the garlic press, don't waste it. Yank it out, mince it a little bit more. Use that garlic. Then you want about an inch worth of ginger, which you're gonna peel. If you don't know how, back with a spoon, peel away. And before we go to the stove, we'll get our spice mix ready to go, which consists of 1 tablespoon of Garam Masala, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander seeds, then 2 teaspoons of chili powder. So we got everything ready, well, almost everything. Everything's in their place. I believe in the French culinary world, they call it mes amis, mise en place, whatever, same thing. Then of course we got our chicken, which we'll get out. Oh yeah, that looks appetizing. You ever pipe your cake with butter chicken? Alright, so using a large pot like this, got this nice cast iron one I like using. Preheat this up, about medium. We're gonna first sear our chicken, give it some color before we put it all together. So we get some oil in here. Alright, so our oil's starting to smoke a bit. You know our oil was preheated. And we'll just drop some of this chicken in. Just give it a little color. Alright, so once we got some color on this chicken, got this beautiful fond at the bottom of the pot, which we'll just pour a little water to deglaze it. Then using the oil and fat from our chicken here, get it back in this pot. Oh, I got a better idea. That is some flavorful oil right there. Keeping our heat on about medium, get our onions in. And give these about 5 to 10 minutes constant stirring before our onions start to break down. Alright, so as you can see, our onions have reduced down quite a bit. We got this beautiful color from all that chicken fat. Next we'll toss in our crushed garlic. Mix this around so the garlic starts to cook and be fragrant. It smells really good already. Then using our 1 inch of ginger, we're gonna grate it all in. This just helps mend and meld. Is that the right word? Meld in together, mend in together. I'll edit the wrong one out. The flavor evenly. And of course, our butter. Is this the healthiest dish? Yes. You want a low-calorie version of this? Just eat less of it. And from here, we'll add about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. We'll get our spice mix in. Wow, that smells good. Then using a large can of crushed tomatoes. This one is about 800 grams. toss that in. Then ideally, you'd use a immersion blender, because if not, you would kind of have to pull all this out and put it in the blender. Seems very inconvenient. But this, very convenient. Next, once you got all that in, we'll add the rest of our chicken. We'll bring this to a simmer and let this cook until the chicken registers at least 165, 175. Then we'll know our chicken is done. So it's been about 10 minutes now, maybe. Who knows? Check on our chicken. 180, 185. That's good. I think chicken thigh is best around anywhere between 175 to 190. So next, we are going to add coconut milk. Got a can here. Of course, you could use cream or regular milk. 400 milligrams of coconut milk here. I really like that flavor that it adds to this. Mix that in. From here, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar. This will balance out the tomato. Then from here, we'll taste and season for salt. We didn't put any salt in it at any point other than the chicken. So honestly, doesn't need all that much. That's good. I'll start off with half a teaspoon of kosher salt first. Another half. Wow. That's good. And that's it for our butter chicken. Garnish this with some cilantro, but I'm fresh out for some reason. I'm terrible at this YouTube cooking thing. Never prepared. But let's move on to our NAAN. Alright, so our butter chicken is done. Now we need to make our NAAN. Obviously, we don't have a tandoori. That would be kind of cool. So I propose a makeshift one. You're gonna preheat your oven to however hot it gets. Mine only goes up to 525. And if you got yourself a griddle, something like this is perfect. Or any cast iron pan works. We're gonna lay this at the bottom, right above the heat. Of course, you could do this on the stovetop with your cast iron skillets, but this is better because I wanted to see if it works. So we got our dough. See, it's been doubled in size. Give it a little smack, deflate it, pop it, try to get any of the air out. We're going to split this into 8. As much as I like splitting things, making things even, doing it by eye, nay, doing it by the heart gives this an uneven, rustic feel, and I've already messed up and these are all really uneven. So, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? Try a small one first so I can mess up that. Get this into a ball, and we'll roll it out till it's about an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch thick. That looks good. So let's see if this works. Cute little pizza. Oh, it's hot! It's hot! Let's give each side, I don't know. Alright, that's 45 seconds. Let's give this a flip. Oh, yeah. Oh no. I lost one. Or maybe 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds is the one. Okay. Not bad. Okay. So, the problem was when I laid it on, they kind of don't sit flat. What I need is one of those, I don't know, they look like tiny pillows. They put the naan in and they slap it on the tandoori. Oh. This, maybe this will work. Yeah? Check it. Check it. Oh. I'm as modest as they come. I'm a freaking genius. Check this out. Check this out. You give it an extra little pull. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like it. I like it. Look at the puff. See the puff? Look at that. Look at the puff. Look at the puff. Look at the puff! It's hot! I'm very excited because I enjoy learning. Come on, look at the puff! Oh yeah! Here's my question. Do you get this if you just do the stove top? I'm just gonna say no, so I feel good about myself. But I think the extra heat around that goes on top, very similar to a tandoori oven. It's all the heat's on the wall. Our wall is now our griddle. Oh man, I'm feeling myself. Oh no, that one didn't work. Oh, see what happens when that didn't release well. See what happens when I'm too confident. All right, this needs a little spritz of grease here. That's what it's missing. This is the final puzzle piece, I think. Just look how pretty this is, huh? Look at that. Look at that. What a beauty. And then we got our big old pot of butter chicken. Oh, I'm sweating. Just look at this. Look at these micro blisters. Huh? Huh? I get very proud of myself, okay? All right, but how does this taste though? I don't know, something about yogurt that makes the NAAN what it is. All right, now with some of our butter chicken. As a good friend of mine usually says, wow, why waste time say lot word when few word do trick? Maybe that's the key here. On one hand, maybe the simple name of butter chicken is all it needs. On the other hand, with the complexity and depth of flavor, maybe it's time for a new name? Let me know what you come up with. But for this naan, that's the right name.